Further on the bill is amended. Further on the bill is amended. Representative Sampson of the 80th, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This place surprises me more and more every time I walk in here sometimes, because the amendment that we just passed on this bill, which would essentially create a ban on conversion therapy, almost nullified the effect of the bill by saying that it's only banned in the effect when there is money changing hands. And I just don't understand how people could support a notion where something should be banned in one case but not another just because there's money changing hands. Now, I know this is a sensitive subject, and I certainly appreciate the very impassioned and thoughtful speech for the proponent. But I think that there are places where we belong as a state government and places where we do not belong as a state government. As I said earlier, the first time I had a real chance to look at this bill was just this morning. It's not a long bill, but you want to make sure that each word makes some sort of sense when you're reading through something. And I just found the language to be extraordinarily broad. In lines 6 through 8, it says that any effort to change gender expression or to eliminate or reduce sexual or romantic attraction. To me, that's a very, very broad definition. I mean, any effort, to me, that might include somebody just asking a question. Are you sure? To me, that's a pretty low bar to have to meet before someone is in violation of the ban on conversion therapy, asking someone if they are sure about the choices that they're making. The other thing is that this language does not give room for any other reason for this to happen. Suppose a parent engages a professional to talk to their child to convince them not to be involved in a relationship with a same-sex partner, but it's for a totally different reason. Maybe they don't want that person to date that person because they're addicted to drugs or they have a history of crime. That would still fall under this bill because it says any effort to reduce attraction. It doesn't even explicitly say that that has to be the reason why. Even a parent trying to convince their child to not engage in sexual activity with a same-sex partner for the mere desire that they shouldn't be having sex as a young person could be construed as violating the language in the bill. I know there was some commentary about electronic shock therapy and things like that. Those are obviously barbaric things that I don't know have anything to do with the language that's in the bill, because as I said, the bill says any effort, which I think we could all agree that no one should be subjected to any forced coercion or electronic shock or anything like that. We don't live in the Middle Ages, and I would certainly say that those things are clearly negative under any circumstances, regardless of how laudable it is. But the notion that any effort is the bar just strikes me as far too low. I'm a Republican, and the reason why I'm a Republican is because I believe in certain key principles. And one of those key principles is the idea that the founders of this great country had, which is the idea of limited constitutional government. The idea that we are free people and that free people can make their own decisions about things in life. When this body gets together and decides for our constituents who are free people what they are able or not able to do, I am always wary of making determinations like that. Now, of course, there are behaviors that are unacceptable in society, and we do have to set certain limits. But I don't know that this is a case where that should occur, because I think a lot of this has to do with opinions and political correctness. Now, I'm not going to mention my personal feelings on this subject, and that's for the express purpose that it doesn't matter and no one should even know. I am here as a lawmaker, as a legislator, trying to make a determination on whether it is right for the state to pass a law to ban a certain behavior for its free citizens. I just don't think we should be making laws like this, especially when we are interfering with the rights of parents to make determinations for their children. And that's a question I ask myself every time I come in here and every bill that's before me. Does it violate anyone's rights? In this particular case, I believe it does. I believe parents have rights to make decisions that should supersede the state's rights to tell them what is acceptable behavior and what is not in a free society. We need to be careful, people. We need to be careful because we are losing our freedoms day by day to political correctness, and it's going to keep continuing until someone says no. The state should not be telling free people how to live their lives. Even if you agree that conversion therapy is a horrible practice, you should be very wary of the idea of the state being able to pass a law to ban someone asking a child if they are sure about the decisions they are making. Some people don't like people who smoke. Some people don't like people who drink. Some people don't like tattoos. Some people don't like red cars. They don't like convertibles. They don't like motorcycles. They don't like a lot of things. But does that make it right because a majority of people says, yeah, motorcycles are bad, let's just ban them? Our Constitution is based on something far greater than that, and that is the rights of the individual to make their own determinations. That's why we don't have mob rule. That's why we don't often get together and just decide for everyone what's best for them. We say, does this interfere with the rights of a single person to make their own mind? And if so, it's a bad idea. This is a bad idea, Mr. Speaker. I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Sampson.